Blockchain Bernie here with my latest episode. This is about Mempools on Solana, and you might have known that Solana is not really known for Mempools, but it did get one recently, but then something happened and lots of developments to talk about today, and all this might surprise you. So let's dive right into it. What is a mempool? A mempool is a pool that's held in memory. That's why it's called a mempool of transactions that have been submitted by users, but they haven't gotten executed yet. So that's why we call them a mempool, right? And it originated in Ethereum. I believe even Bitcoin has a mempool. Not sure though, but Ethereum definitely has. So you submit a transaction, and if none of the validators is processing it, then it stays there in the mempool for a long time until the bid you've made for the transaction fee will actually be enough for one of the validators to process it, right? So that's how things work on Ethereum. And recently with Jito, and I had a few other videos about Jito beforehand. I explained to you in that other video that with Jito, we have an MEV, an MEV project on the Solana chain. So MEV, maximum extractable value, and that means reordering transactions to get the maximum value for the user. The user can pay a tip to get, transactions executed without other transactions coming in between, which maximizes their profit. And if some validator says, okay, I'm going to do your bundle with nothing in between, then they can pay a tip for that. And that Jito MEV product also has a mempool, right? So all the transactions, because they might get reordered, right? So the Jito Solana software is forwarding all these transactions to what Jito calls their block engine. And in that block engine, all the transactions are there. And by the way, Solana, like, naked Solana without Jito, doesn't have a mempool. You just submit a transaction, you submit it to an RPC node, the RPC node sends it to the leader, and either the leader processes it or it sends it to the next leader, and so on. But if for 30 seconds or so there's no leader that is willing or able to process it, then your transaction just expires, right? It's not held in memory for a long time, as is the case in Ethereum, right? So you just have that, transactions just expire. But with MEV, with the Jito MEV solution, these transactions are being sent to a block engine before they're actually being processed by validators or by leaders, right? So they sit in the block engine for like 200 milliseconds or so. The block engine decides whether to reorder them or to what leader to send them. And so that means there is a mempool in the block engine in Jito, right? And with that mempool, something happened, right, the last few days. And that's really interesting to observe. So let's look into this, and let's just dive into their Discord channel, right? So we're here at the Jito Discord, and we see the announcement of Buffalo, who's the founder and CEO of Jito. And he said that on March 8th, so, not too long ago. XandeumLabs has decided to suspend the Mempool API offered through the Jito block engine due to negative externalities for users on Solana. Wow, that is kind of surprising. The decision has been made after deliberate conversations with the XandeumLabs team and key Solana ecosystem stakeholders. This product will be suspended on Friday, March 8th. Bundles and other block engine functionality will continue to operate as normal. All right, so what does that mean? What negative externalities are they talking about here? it's, these negative externalities are called sandwiching, and I'm going to explain to you what sandwiching actually is. But before I dive into that, please destroy that like button for me if you like content like this, explaining things in the Solana ecosystem, explaining things about our own thing that we're building, the Xandeum scalable storage layer. And so hit that like button. I really appreciate it. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Also subscribe to my channel if you need more if you want to see more content like this. All right, the mempool in Jito, right? So let's look into two functionalities, because they are writing here the mempool will be suspended, but bundles will continue to operate as normal. So let's look into these two things. What is the mempool and what is bundles? So let's start with the bundles. Bundles just means, as I explained earlier, you have 2 or 3 or 4 transactions. You want to exploit some differences in pricing at different exchanges. That's also called arbitrage. And arbitrage is a good thing, right? Because it evens out pricing on different exchanges. So that's a great thing. And that functionality is a key functionality in the Jito MEV thing. So you just put 2, 3, 4 transactions in there. For example, you buy Sol in Tokyo and then you sell it in Atlanta, right? Because you see there's different pricing there and you're making a profit there, right? That doesn't include other people's transactions, right? The bundles is just like, hey, I have a few transactions. Those are the transactions that I want to submit. And all I want you to do, dear Solana, is execute them without anyone else coming in between and kind of spoiling my profit opportunity here, right? So that's a great thing to have in itself, and it's good to know that these bundles continue to be supported by Jito and by the Jito MEV system. However, they had a Mempool API, and with that Mempool API, users have been able to query that, and they could see what other people, what transactions other people have submitted that are waiting for execution. And then they could insert their own transactions, right? So let's say you want to buy a large amount of Sol for USDC, right? They know if you want to buy that many Sol, it's going to have an impact on the price, right? So they do their buy transaction before yours, and then they do a sell transaction after yours, and that's called sandwiching, right? You know why it's called sandwiching, right? Because there's a bread, there's some cheese or meat in between, and then there's bread again, right? So the 2 layers of bread, that's what they put in, and then they can profit off of it. But that's to the disadvantage of the guy in the middle, right? Because he just wanted to buy his Sol at the best price, right? But if they buy beforehand, it drives up the price, depending on the size of their buy transaction, right? So looking at other people's transactions and then sandwiching them with your own transactions, that has been harming a few people. And it seems like, once that word spread, people did it more and more and more. More and more and larger percentage of transactions have been sandwiched using that mempool that Jito had been offering, right? And that was not good for the Solana ecosystem. And man, I'm super thankful that they discussed everything, just as they always do. I mean, Jito is a great tool. It's a great company. And they discussed it all in the Solana ecosystem, and they voluntarily decided, as you can see here, to just discontinue or suspend that mempool functionality, right? So they might find another solution on how that mempool stuff might be working again and not have these issues that I just described. But it's going to be difficult, right? It's not that easy to find a solution to prevent that sandwiching and stuff like that. So the mempool functionality is suspended for now. My personal feeling is it might be suspended for a longer time, but the good news is the bundles are still there. MEV is still alive on Solana. Validator is still earning extra rewards through Jito, right? And our own validator, the Xandeum validator, which you can stake your sol to, it has the extra MEV rewards that are coming from Jito. So it's a great validator to stake your sol to. And if you have any sol, you should stake it. You should get it out of Coinbase or out of Binance into your own wallet where you control the keys, and then stake it to one validator of your choice, rather than, you know, spreading it across 144 different validators, and you won't get the best return, right? And if you do that and spread it over so many, first of all, you know, the average return will decline, and then also whoever you use as a platform for that, like Marinade or something, they charge their cut also. So it's always best to stake it with a validator you trust. If you trust us, I urge you to use the Xandeum validator to stake your sol to. A link is down in the description on where you can stake your sol with us. And as for today, thanks so much for watching, guys.